Well, good afternoon, this is Houndog Steve wishing you a very pleasant afternoon. And as you can probably see behind me, we've been doing some work clearing the site. So I'm just going to take you on a quick tour here, and we'll have a little chat as we go around. But yes, we've been quite busy. Okay, here we go. So as you can see, the site has now been completely cleared. And man, did we ever cut a lot of wood. I think this is probably going to be the hardest part of the job. You can see some of these pines, pretty big trees. We dug some test holes this morning as we cleared the site, and we thought we were going to hit rock down here, but we've got about a foot of topsoil, a foot of sand, and then you hit a clay bottom. And this was a bit of an experiment. I'd seen some videos about making rocket stoves out of these stumps to try and burn them out, and I would say it was relatively successful. I just cut a square hole in the top there and a square hole in the side, and that was about one afternoon's worth of burning. And of course I'm not going to have anything on fire right now because we've had a long dry spell and the bush is like tinder. That's one of the reasons I cleared up all around here, to get rid of some of this light debris. So it's quite a big plot. The excavator will be coming in on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and we're going to level this out. We're going to make good use of this topsoil because there is a gravel and crush going down as the base. But this is excellent topsoil. This has just been maple leaves mixed in with some pine, so it has a great pH. And this is excellent. This will cost you a fortune to go to a garden centre and to purchase this much soil. I'm sure, like me, you've been watching or listening to the news and the constant saber rattling around the world, what with China and Taiwan. Russia-Ukraine thing is still labouring on, and I think you'll recall that I said that would be a grinding type situation. It would be a war of attrition, and that's exactly what it's turning out to be. I feel so sorry for the people of Ukraine. That country is just getting absolutely flattened. There'll be, I would say, very little crop production this year. I would imagine that most industry, if it hasn't come to a complete standstill, it is on slow mode because, you know, resources, hydro power plants have been hit. Oh yes, this is a devastating situation. Actually, I saw a drone video the other day flying through Bakhmut, and there is literally nothing left. It's just, everything is just shelled out. Now I don't know if that's the entire city, but it looks pretty grim, and you wouldn't want to be in that situation. You know, there's sniping still taking place, so it is extremely dangerous for anybody to go out and do anything. I would imagine once you get out of the major centres, there is no power whatsoever. So you can just imagine, this is your ultimate survival situation. It's your ultimate survival situation. And, you know, I know that's a war-torn place, but most of our infrastructure worldwide, it's getting pretty old. It was new in the 70s and 80s, and we started to replace some, but as we've seen, you know, when you get these power outs in the summertime because of overload and that kind of stuff, you know, we just haven't kept up with our infrastructure, and so we may pay a price for that. And so that is why, well, this is what's happening here. We're going to grow our own food and be able to sustain ourselves in an emergency. You know, that's the whole point of this stuff. And you know, it's amazing that most people just don't realize how fragile our system is. and how many processes that take place behind the scenes day in and day out, and you have no idea of what it takes to keep this infrastructure afloat. And well, I don't know what it's like where you're living, but there is no one to work. We were joking the other day about taking the trees down, you know, 4 old guys taking the trees down, and it just came up in conversation. Well, where are all the young people? You know, every shop has a wanted sign in the window. I'm hearing the same from construction workers. I did hear something which was actually kind of interesting. I had talking to a guy who works with these large underground sewer mains, you know, that run in larger cities and towns. And he said they don't have any contracts waiting, and he said that's actually unusual. They usually booked solid because of failing infrastructure. So I don't know what that indicates, whether the municipalities are running out of money and just, you know, they're putting things that are working on the back burner even though they know they should be replaced. So, you know, we place a lot of faith in aging systems. And the irony of all this is that the people who are most dependent on these systems are the least likely to want to climb, you know, one of these great big antennas, you know, for a cell phone antenna, and fix the darn thing. Okay, you know, they want to sit behind a keyboard and yeah, not do dangerous stuff. And so how is that going to work? You know, a lot of these people, you know, who are climbing these cell phone towers and going down mines and oil rigs and all that kind of stuff are aging, and you know, they're going to be retiring as soon as they can, and they haven't been replaced. That's one of the huge issues with Ontario Hydro here, is they have no managers. They didn't train. Look at those 2 dogs. They just have so much fun together. Yeah, they didn't bother to retrain managers, and of course the good managers left as soon as they could because of all the nonsense that's taking place in the workplace right now. You know, it's just intolerable. We see the kind of thinking that's taking place, and I can't, for the love of God of me, figure out how they think this is all going to work. Yeah, well, you saw my video on solar power. But it's not just that. You know, it's our whole infrastructure has reached a crucial point in its lifespan, and we simply do not have the trained people to replace those who are retiring. And you know, I heard a thing in Britain. Who was this? I think it was Dr. John Campbell. That 40% of the British workforce are off sick or working part-time because they are ill for some reason. I wonder what that connection could be. But anyways, you know, losing 40% of your workforce or having them on, you know, half speed is a disaster. It's an absolute disaster for everything in the system that needs to keep running. And so, yeah, I'm urging people to at least have some food set aside, a plan where you can get together with a neighbor who maybe has a garden, and you share the work, learn to be cooperative, because yeah, this is going to be a difficult 5 years coming up, at least. So yeah, that's why we're doing what we're doing, and that's why we're trying to support sustainable community. You know, and go back to the kind of village life that we used to have when I first came to Bob Cajun. Look at those chickens. When we're working out here, they just rush to this side of the chicken pen, and they've got to just check out what's happening. They are such inquisitive little critters. Okay, so we now have a raised bed. This is maple wood in the bottom, and this is from the chicken coop, and this was from a pile of well-rotted manure. So these are raspberry plants in the back, strawberry plants in the front, and when we get the greenhouse finally cleaned out, it's really only just dried out in there, and we'll be cleaning that out, and that will be going into production as well. Now this will give you some idea of the amount of wood that we've cut. This is yet to be split, but yeah, there's quite a pile of wood here. There's some pine in there, some of the larger pine, which we'll use fall and spring, but the rest is maple. So we figure that we have about 8 to 10 cord here. We'll see when we actually stack it. But you can see some some of these trees were just absolutely massive. When you work with wood, I'll tell you, you know that you've worked a day's work. My hat's off to these guys in the past who went up and cut the white pine for the tall ships, who had to cut 1 million to 1.5 million board feet in a winter season. That is a staggering amount of wood, and I'm sure that it'll be more than a couple of days to split all of this and get it stacked ready for winter. Anyway, it sure is a nice feeling to have your wood basically there and ready to go. Because one of the things about Canada, you know, even in the middle of or the beginning of summer, you're thinking about those cold winter months, and if you're not ready, you might have fun during the summertime, but you won't have no fun in the winter. There's nothing worse than being cold. So that was just a quick update, and please let me thank you for joining me on this journey. I found actually that most of my life has been one adventure or another, and it is absolutely incredible to see yet another adventure unfolding, and who knows what the future may hold. I say that the cards are still up in the air. Nothing is final. Nothing is final. So don't lose hope. Keep those projects going, and anyway, if you've enjoyed this video, please like, comment, subscribe below. In the meantime, this is Houndog Steve signing off, wishing you a very pleasant evening, and we'll talk very, very shortly. You take care now. See ya. Bye.